All right, let's dive in. We're tackling the SAV card today, and it's interesting you're considering it, but you also pointed out something kind of strange. It's not from a bank, but it's a debit card.
Yeah, that's unusual.
So we've got SAV's website marketing stuff here. We'll see what they're saying. But the real question is, how does that even work? A non-bank debit card in the UAE.
Right.
Let's figure that out.
I know.
Okay, so first off, this whole not a bank thing. I mean, it's a bit confusing, right? They mention partnering with NimCard and Mashrek Bank. So are they just like the middleman?
That's a good question.
Just with a fancy app?
You could say that.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the front end, if you will. They handle the look and feel and some of the features.
Okay.
But the actual money stuff, that's still done by the partners.
Oh, so the partners are doing like the heavy lifting on the financial side.
Exactly. NimCard, they're big in payments processing. And then Mashrek Bank, well, they're a proper bank, so you're still in the regulated system.
Okay, that makes more sense. So I'm using SAV's app.
Yeah.
But my money's actually...
Yeah. Well, that's where it gets a bit tricky. That's what we need to figure out. Is it with NimCard? Is it with Mashrek Bank?
Right, because if something goes wrong...
Exactly.
Who do I even talk to? SAV or...
Exactly. Who's responsible?
Yeah.
And then there's the data privacy question, too. SAV says they don't look at your data or share it.
Right.
But with all these partners involved, it gets a bit more complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
NimCard has a good reputation for security, and Mashrek Bank's solid, too. But that data is going back and forth between them. We really need to dig into their terms and conditions to see who's liable for what.
So it's not as simple as they make it sound.
Not really. It's not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
But you're putting your trust in a whole network.
Yeah, a whole bunch more companies.
Right. And each one has their own ways of doing things, their own weak spots.
Okay, so more to think about than just not a bank, no problem.
Definitely. It adds another layer of complexity.
Makes you think.
For sure. Traditional banks have their problems too.
Yeah.
But this is something else to consider.
All right, well, let's get back to the marketing for a sec. They're really pushing that 5% cash back. How good is that really in the UAE? Are there any gotchas we need to be aware of?
If 5% flat would be amazing, but remember, it's not that simple.
Okay.
It's tiered, and there are limits. They've got these spending thresholds.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So spend AED 1,000 to AED 10,000, you get max AED 200 back.
Okay.
Then AED 10,000 to AED 15,000, you get up to AED 400.
Right.
And anything over AED 15,000, well, the cap is AED 650.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's the catch. They include all the bonuses in that total.
Oh, bonuses.
Yeah, like their scratch cards or money missions and referrals, all that's lumped in.
Oh, so that 5% isn't necessarily what I'm getting back on everything I buy?
Exactly. It's more like a pot of rewards.
Oh, okay.
That might include random bonuses or require you to do extra stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. To know your real cash back percentage, you need to separate those bonuses out.
Right.
We need more info on the typical bonus amounts to be precise, but I'd say that advertised 5% is probably best case scenario.
So gotta be careful not to get caught up in those games.
Yeah, you might spend more trying to get those bonuses.
Right, defeating the whole purpose.
Exactly. Focus on your regular spending and what you actually get back on that.
And they mention adjusting the cash back for refunds and returns.
Oh, right.
So that's something to keep in mind. You might not get the full amount immediately.
Good point. And there's always that classic disclaimer.
Yeah, I saw that.
They can change or withdraw the offer anytime.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Oh, I hate.
Which highlights a key difference between these fintech companies and your traditional banks.
Oh, how so?
With banks, things tend to be more stable.
Yeah, they don't change things up as often.
Right. Interest rates, reward programs, they might not be as exciting,
Right.
but they're more predictable.
Okay.
With SAV, they can be more agile.
Makes sense.
But that means things can change quickly.
And if I'm relying on that cash back.
Right. It could affect your budget.
So trade-offs,
Exactly.
more potential upside, but less certainty.
Exactly. It depends what you're comfortable with.
All right, so we talked not a bank, cash back. Now let's look at the other features they're highlighting. How do those compare?
Yeah. Let's see if they're really that special.
Yeah, because at first glance, they seem pretty standard.
Let's dig in and find out. Okay, so they've got this reasons you'll love section on their website.
Yeah.
But, let's see if it's really all that great compared to what else is out there.
All right, so first up, global acceptance.
All right.
I mean, most cards work pretty much everywhere now, don't they?
True, especially if they're on Visa or MasterCard, which I'm guessing this one is.
Yeah, probably.
But the thing is, global acceptance doesn't mean free.
Ah,
We need to check the fees.
for using it abroad.
Yeah, foreign transaction fees. Some cards don't have any,
That's always nice.
but others charge a percentage or a flat fee every time you use it,
And that can add up.
especially if you travel a lot.
So global acceptance is just the starting point.
Exactly.
What about those 2 free ATM withdrawals per month?
Yeah, that could be useful.
Depends what other banks are offering, right?
It does. Some basic accounts, you can only use their ATMs.
Right.
Others give you a few free withdrawals anywhere. We need to compare. But if you're not a big cash user...
Yeah, then it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for people who prefer cash or travel to places where cards aren't always accepted...
Then it could be a good perk.
Definitely. Okay, next up, no minimum balance.
I feel like most accounts don't have that anymore anyway, right?
Hey, you're right, it's becoming the norm. But still worth mentioning.
Yeah, true.
Because some banks still have those minimums.
So that's good for people who don't always have a lot in their account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we've got digital wallet integration.
I mean, that's a given these days, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that.
If a card doesn't have that, it's kind of a deal breaker.
Definitely. It's not a cook anymore. It's just what you expect.
Right.
And it shows how much things have changed.
Yeah.
What used to be special is now just normal.
They're also mentioning POS usage and free peer-to-peer transfers. Same thing. Those are pretty standard now.
Exactly. The bar keeps getting higher.
Yeah, I got to keep up with the competition.
Okay, now this one, they make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Full control with the Sav app.
Yeah, I saw that.
Freezing your card, changing your PIN, setting daily limits.
Yeah.
All from the app.
Sounds handy.
It is. It's what people want these days.
Being able to do everything on your phone.
Yeah, that instant control.
Yeah.
If you lose your card, boom, you lock it.
No need to call the bank.
Exactly.
And you can manage your spending too.
Right, it gives you that sense of power.
But a lot of banks have their own apps now too, right?
They do. A lot of them are catching up.
So it's not necessarily unique to Sav.
It's not. But it's still a good feature.
Yeah, the convenience is great.
But it might not be the deciding factor.
If other banks offer the same thing.
Exactly. It comes down to how well the app works.
How user-friendly it is.
Right, and we can't really judge that without trying it ourselves.
Okay, so not a bank. Cashback features. Now the big one, trust. They say trusted by over 50,000 UAE residents. But how do we know?
Yeah, we need more than just their word for it.
Right, we need proof.
Exactly. Are there reviews online? What are people saying about their experience?
Have there been any problems?
Right, security breaches,
Yeah.
customer service issues. That's what we need to find out.
And what about regulations? They're not a bank. So what kind of protection do I have as a customer?
That's a crucial question. They're working with Mashreq Bank, so they're probably within the system.
Hopefully.
But we need to be sure which regulator oversees them. What can you do if something goes wrong?
Yeah. What are my rights?
Exactly. Sav needs to be upfront about all this.
About their security, how they handle data.
Yeah, the more information, the better.
So it's like peeling back the layers.
It is.
We've got the marketing, the features, the partnerships. Now we need to dig deeper.
Jesus is really going on.
Like detectives.
Gathering clues.
Putting the pieces together.
And that's what this deep dive is all about.
Right, we're not just repeating what Sav says.
No.
We're encouraging you to think for yourself.
Ask the tough questions.
So what's the biggest takeaway so far?
I'd say the main thing is this not a bank model. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's not your typical bank.
Right, you're not dealing with a traditional institution.
With all the usual rules and stuff.
Exactly. There's more innovation, more convenience, but
There might be downsides too.
Exactly.
So you need to be aware of those.
and decide what's most important to you.
Is it the cashback
The app.
or the security of a regular bank?
Right. It's your call.
It all depends on your needs and your risk tolerance.
Exactly. No right or wrong answer.
Just what's right for you. It feels like there's so much more to explore with this whole thing.
Yeah.
This whole fintech world and how these companies are changing things up.
It's a really interesting area. It's changing fast.
And it seems like people want something different these days.
They do.
More personalized, you know?
Definitely technology is driving a lot of that.
It's good to have options,
It is.
but you really got to do your homework.
Yeah.
You can't just jump in blindly. Exactly. You got to be informed.
Know what you're getting into.
Take control of your finances.
So what's the most important question our listeners should be asking right now?
About the Sav card.
Yeah, as they're weighing the pros and cons.
I'd say the big one is, does this fit with my overall financial goals?
Okay.
Is that cashback worth it? Considering the trust aspect, the regulations.
All the stuff we talked about.
Right. Only you can answer that.
It's about what's important to you, right?
Exactly.
Security, convenience, control.
It's personal.
And this deep dive, it's just the beginning.
It is.
We're giving you the tools, the questions.
The areas to explore, now it's up to you.
Do your own research.
Go to SAV's website, read those terms and conditions.
See what other people are saying.
Don't just look at SAV, though.
Right.
Compare it to other cards.
Other banks even.
See what else is out there.
The more you know, the better decisions you'll make.
And if you find something interesting or have any questions,
Share them with us.
come find us on social media.
We're always up for a good discussion.
We're all in this together.
We are. This is a new world of finance.
And we're figuring it out as we go.
Be curious.
Be informed.
Be engaged.
That's how we make the most of it.
Exactly.
So as you explore the SAV card, remember, knowledge is power.
The more you know, the better off you'll be.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
There are resources out there.
People who can guide you.
You're not alone.
That's it for our deep dive into the SAV card. Hope you learned a lot.
And feel more confident about your financial journey.
Until next time, happy diving.